Hey guys, welcome to the Struggling Hunters. This is episode 14. You got me, Eric Stewart, and Mr.
Joe Imes out here. Hey.
Oh man, here we are again, huh?
Yeah.
We've been doing this for, well, it has to be over 3 months, almost 3.5 months.
Right. Yeah. A little bit of time now.
Yeah, exciting stuff. I think we're kind of getting the hang of it. Getting excited for our upcoming hunt, and today I think we'll just kind of get into what we're planning on talking about today. But yeah, we'll just go on with Joe is getting ready to, his hunt's coming up real soon. He's basically a month away from opening day. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about prep and what he's planning on doing to prep for his hunt. So Joe, do you want to take it away?
I'll take it away. I'll take it away now. Yeah. So as Eric said, my hunt's coming up here in in pretty much a month away. It's still a learning process for me doing this archery hunt, and so this is my second year, but still, I still get the first night jitters.
Yeah, for sure.
And but it's so this trying to get the bow set up, still a learning process. I've gone out shooting. I should back the story up to a year or last year before the end of hunt. I think it was. Anyways, I was in Cabela's and I bought a set of arrows, and they're all, "Hey, these are on sale." I looked at them like, "Oh, okay, I'll buy these." They're on sale, and I didn't shoot them. And then this year, getting ready for the hunt, I pulled them out and shooting them, and it's kind of interesting shooting the arrows that I had last year. So like it's the same spine strength, but different weight. And I don't know what the exact. I didn't look at the weight between the two, but as I was shooting, the arrows that I had from last year, well, they flew straight, and then the arrows I was shooting that I bought for some reason would fly, like, took off hard to the left. Like I was a quite the gap. Like, it wasn't to the left by 6 inches. It was like to the left by like a foot and a half or two. But then I'd get frustrated. It's like, I gotta read, which, it makes sense, because if it's a different weighted arrow, it's gonna fly different. And but I was like, now I gotta mess with my sights, and I gotta redo all that. But then I gotta put my other arrows back in, and then they'd fly straight. So I guess I'm gonna pick up new arrows closer to the weight that I was using with last year, so that way, things are straighter, fly straighter, will hopefully operate better. But it's a learning process. One thing with the rifle is you kind of can set up repetition fairly easy and fairly quickly. Your ammunition is probably will fluctuate different between brands, and even though you're shooting the same weight of bullets, but it's just interesting to me, like how much the difference was in the arrows this year getting set up and ready to go.
So let me jump in real quick. So you're saying that the arrows were different weights, or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I guess I don't remember the weight. I got rid of the boxes, which is probably rule number one, is get all the information you need.
Yeah.
And it's probably written on the arrow. I just haven't looked at it. Like I said, I'm still learning, still trying to understand it all. I'm sure, like I said, it's written on the arrow somewhere. I'm sure the information is staring at me. I just don't know how to read it.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that I think I'm gonna go without a peep sight this year. I had one put on, and it didn't quite wasn't set where I needed it to be. Like, I'd pull it back and it was like affecting how what the arrow or the bow was tilted. So so I took that off. I got gonna put a kiss buttons or kisser, what they call it. It goes on your string, and then you line that right up into the corner of your cheek, or right where your lips kind of come together in the side there, and then that helps you, gives you a reference. Then to come back. I guess that's one of the keys to becoming a good archer. It's kind of, you have your rifle, you want to go to the same spot every time too, but you can, that's a little different, or the difference, because you can look down in your crosshairs and you get everything set up the same. But the bow, you got different points of contact that's going to affect it. You got where your string's coming across your face, where it's coming across your nose, where your release is setting in your cheek and back to your ear where your hand is, and then also on your foregrip where your hand's touching the bow. One of the things is you want the bow to come in to this area here, into your thumb and into your pointer finger, and just rest in there. You don't want to grip it, because one of the things I got to see as I was tuning my bow, that if I gripped my bow, I would tend to like twist the bow a little bit. And although like the arrow and everything was lining up, because the bow was twisted a little bit, it would throw the arrow different.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So if I put my bow in my hands, and then I pulled back the string, and then just let the bow set in that crook, or in that U-shaped around between my thumb and my pointer finger, it'll allow the bow to set at its natural pivot point, to allow the arrow to fly straighter. And then again, less points of contact you have with it, the better it's going to fly. So if you wrap your hand around that grip of your bow, you have more points of contact, and that's going to affect how the arrow goes down range. And it's not the grab and go as you think it would be, if you want to be a good hunter, or good target shooter, or whatever it is. It takes a little bit of practice, and I'm getting there. I can hit paper now.
Yeah, that's a good good thing for sure.
And then I picked up these Jager little broadheads here. They're one piece. They don't come apart. I don't know if that's, my mind, I kind of went, that might be a little bit better, because there's less moving parts on them, less things to fall apart, less things to make sure that are tight before I release the arrow. It's not like, make sure it's screwed in tight, but I'm not having to make sure that everything is there. Nothing fell out as I was hiking. And, but I don't know if I haven't quite looked into sharpening them. I might need to. And then of course, is trying to learn. My weakness, I think, without my rangefinder, is guessing the distance. I feel like I'm pretty good within probably like the 10-yard range. I can guess 10 yards, but getting out to 20, 30, and 40 offhand is, I'm sure people can do it, but I'm still in the guessing game. And I picked up a Nikon rangefinder. It's been a number of years. I picked it up. So it's a Night Pro staff. It's a 550. So I think the 550 stands for 550 yards is what it's good for.
Right.
But I've had it for a handful of years, and it's done pretty good. But it's just a straight line of shot. It doesn't compensate for angle of degree, or like what angle it's I'm going to be shooting at. So that's the other thing, is I got to pay attention to how how much of a incline I'm shooting at, or how much of a incline. I'm looking down at the incline. It inclines up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And declines down. So it's, and as I think back to my hunt last year, I don't know if I call it a missed opportunity because I wasn't set up to shoot, but the opportunity that could have turned into a missed opportunity, was a cow elk, and it was above me. I think it was 20 yards. And I think there's some tricks out there as to how to help you to shoot, and it's to kind of, I guess, aim where, if you're shooting uphill or downhill, is aim where the bullet or the arrow would be coming out if you're shooting on a flat surface, and it comes out on the back side, you want to imagine where that would be. If you're shooting on your incline, where that's where the point you want to aim at as you're shooting uphill, is at that exit hole where it would be coming out of, or where you want it to come out of. Instead of shooting on the front side aiming, you want to try to imagine where it would be coming out on the back side, and that can help you. If I probably confused the heck out of everybody because I'm still confused by it.
Well, I think it kind of makes sense. You're trying to imagine where the backside of the hole would be or go through. And so you kind of aim up a little more. So whenever you release the arrow, it'll hit where it's supposed to hit on the front side.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
It helps with that, like that drop or the rise or whatever, depending if you're shooting uphill or downhill.
Right.
But, like I haven't done too much. It's so I don't know if I'm sure a lot of it's COVID, and the majority of it, 95% of it, is just my laziness. But I was going to try to go out this year and stump hunt. Go out and just shoot stumps in the woods, practice shooting.
Okay.
Where I choose a terrain that's close to home, so I'm not traveling to my hunting area, but at least hiking on hillsides or whatnot, and just kind of finding a target that I can shoot at and see if I can hit it. That's goals I'm going to do for next year. And then hopefully been doing that for a couple months by now. But
yeah. So have you been getting out practicing already? And
yeah, I've been out, a handful.
Right. Yeah, I guess you did say that you just went out shooting, but all right, how confident are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty confident. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right. So you haven't been using your peep sight lately, or is that something you're gonna eliminate?
That's something I think I'm going to incorporate into it. And yeah, so like I have been, but like I said, I maybe it's just my bow, but like I just haven't been comfortable as I pull back and set in. I just don't like, it's not that I don't feel comfortable in how I'm setting up with the peep sight. So I don't know if it's like where the peep sight is on the string that's affecting me, but like it or what, but I just don't feel the confidence in being comfortable with the peeps. Like, if that makes any sense. Probably doesn't.
Well, I think it does. I mean, I'm kind of picking up what you're putting down, and it sounds like whenever you get set, you pull back and you're ready to shoot. You are you kind of looking for your peep sight, like trying to find your peep sight in your
I'm not necessarily like I find it, but it just like where I guess where the peep sight is on the string. Like it just doesn't feel like it sets up where I need to be. And I've tried moving it up and down a little bit, and as I've done that, like it just doesn't feel right.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like I shot peep sight last year with my old bow, and I didn't. I used it. Oh man, let me think. No, I think I just used a kisser last year too. So that might be part of my problem is I just haven't spent the time behind a peep sight.
Ah, gotcha.
But then I was talking to an old hunter and he was telling me like one of the drawbacks to I think this is what kind of kicked me over too from steering away from a peep sight is so is like that looking through that peep sight, you got to have light to be able to see through it. And so the lesser the light, the bigger the peep sight, because you got to allow the light to come through to be able to light up the peep sight. So it's kind of interesting because if you take a peep sight and you have a smaller peep sight hole, that's going to be a more accurate bow because you have a smaller eye you're looking through. But if you have a bigger peep sight, you have a bigger area to put that pin, so you're going to have a bigger area to shoot at, or to a bull's, what do you call it when you're grouping? That's what I'm looking for. Finally got there. So your grouping is going to be tighter with a smaller peep sight, and then with the bigger peep sight, your grouping is going to be a little bit bigger because it's a bigger hole you're looking through.
Right.
And then with that too is that you get, in order to see through it, light has to be able to come through it. So the smaller the peep sight, the more light you need to come through. So and then the bigger the peep sight, you need less light to be able to go through because it's a bigger opening. But kind of the drop, and I'm sure people are going to come on and kind of dispute me a little bit, but I get their comments. But without the peep sight, like you don't need, if you use a kisser, you don't need the light or as much light, because you're not trying to look through a hole, so you can just you can shoot in lesser light. Like I'm not saying I'm going to shoot in non-legal hunting hours, but as the light gets, sometimes like I guess on a cloudy day, on a shady side, you're still hunting legal hours, but the light isn't as bright, and so you might not be able to find your quarry in your sight because you don't have enough light going through.
Right.
So in a way, it's kind of an advantage to hunt without a peep sight as far as light conditions. But I'm kind of opening myself up to a bigger grouping because I'm not using a peep sight.
But you'll hit, and but you can dial it in and kind of be more consistent and
right, and feel a little more confident in what I'm shooting at too, or how I'm shooting. Like a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's been one thing that's been kind of my trial too, about getting used to bow hunting. So I grew up with a recurve. I shouldn't say, I did grow up with a recurve. My dad bought me my compound bow when I was 12. It was way too big for me, and now it's on the kind of the being too small for me.
Yeah.
The years that would fit me, I didn't use it to hunt. But I've always shot instinctively. So, I didn't really I never used a sight, never used a pin. And I've always just, pulled it up, looked where I wanted to shoot, and just kind of, guessed where I needed to hold the bow to be able to hit it. And I've been pretty good at that. And I've been trying to get myself to break of that habit, although I haven't been shooting instinctively in 10 years. I haven't fired a bow in 10 years I guess I take it back. It's been less than that because I hunted 4 years ago deer with a bow. I think it was 4 years ago. It might have been 5 now. Anyways, and so I still find myself wanting to just instinctively pull up and not look through the sights, but where I think it should go. And I've been meaning to kind of just go back to that just to see how good my instincts are.
Yeah, well, you got a month.
Right. But yeah, I've gone through the arrows. I hate to admit it. I lost a couple last year during the hunt. I strapped my bow to my pack, and I, I took off through some scrub oak and got to the other side and lost a handful of arrows.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
So that's why you got the ones that were on sale.
Yeah. Yeah. The end of season. I should never have done that.
And they just haven't. They just don't seem to be working out.
No, like I said, I got to do more. I could probably make them work out, but I feel like I have to do too much adjustment to make them. And of course, like I said, being a different weight, it's just like shooting a different weighted bullet. You got to go shooting your gun. You got to sight it in for that bullet.
Right.
But
yeah, it makes sense. So, yeah, I don't.
But
It sounds like you got a little ways to go, or a little bit of practice to do yet before you get dialed in for sure, huh?
yeah. I mean, I don't. It's not going to be too hard. Like I said, I was hitting the target fairly close to where I wanted to with my. I have just a couple of my old arrows with this new bow. Let me take, man, I got to scrub everything I just said because I'm not even using the bow that I was using last year. Man, talk about can't remember stuff.
Well, it's late.
God, I'm talking like I hunted with that bow last year. I didn't. I only got this bow 3 months ago.
Oh, so it's all new to you then.
Yeah. Yeah. So I need to, everyone listening to this, just forget everything I just said about trying to understand my bow. Just realize how much I don't understand it. I'm really struggling.
Yeah. Well, it's all part of the process, and I think we all kind of overthink some stuff. I mean, I was doing it with my rifle that I got a couple weeks ago and taking it out and I don't know, just overthinking everything, and finally kind of got it dialed in right now. Finally dialed it in close enough. I still got some more shooting to do and getting used to the gun and everything, but I think it happens whenever you get something new and kind of tend to just overthink everything and blame it on everything but yourself sometimes.
Yeah. I don't ever do anything wrong.
Yeah. That's what I always say too.
I'm not wrong. You're wrong.
Exactly. But so you got that bow like 3 months ago, you said?
Yeah. I think it was 3 months ago. It might have been 4. But like it's another hand-me-down bow. It's nothing. It's a Hoyt. No, not too special. It's it's an older bow again. Nothing new. I keep wondering if I need to go new one of these days, but I'm kind of in the mindset of like, I want to get something with what I got. I don't want to get you or not use what I got. I'd like to understand what I got instead of just being like, oh no, I need the new one improved. I want to understand how to use what I got to maybe make it better or make myself better, because evidently like I'm not always doing something right because I'm not always hitting where I want to hit, or something don't always go the way I want to. So there's room for improvement, and trying to find where that improvement is sometimes difficult when you're trying to learn, starting at the very beginning and understand what's all out there.
Yeah, I hear you. And well, it's hard, man, because you start researching bows and or anything. I mean, even guns.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, I don't have the new and improved gadget. I need this new one. That's what's going to do the trick.
Right. Yeah.
And
It's not, again, it's not me. It's the bow.
yeah, exactly.
And,
So
and I guess, and it's just, trying to, you know, figure out how you're supposed to hold, like making sure you're going back to when you pull the bow back, you're falling into that same rhythm every time, every point of contact, like you're touching is going back to the same place. I think I'm doing that, but I may not be, like I just could be, I'm just used to pulling back with, and holding the bow with the string, and the release is new. I've only had the release since last season, and I bought a new one this year. So that, like it's just all new things, and then you got to understand all that too. Um,
yeah, I hear you. I think that it can be a little daunting at times, and you just gotta just do your best, and hopefully everything works out in the end, I guess.
and it will. Like the season will be what it's be. I'll be ready for. I'll be the best I can be. I will be. How do I will be the best. I can. I don't know about the best I can be, but I'll be the best I I will be by the time the
You'll be
season
at your
comes.
best. You'll be
Yeah,
at your best.
wherever my best is at that point, I'll be there.
Oh, I believe you will. I mean, uh, yeah, I mean, it'll all work out. It sounds like you just need to kind of get used to your bow a little more, and then go from there. Maybe even go get some more arrows that aren't on sale.
Yeah, that's like one of the things, like you're just so used to like, oh, it's a sell, I'm going to buy it. But like really, when you're shooting the bow, you kind of really got to stay consistently the same. But like I said, I wasn't even shooting it. So with that being said, I wasn't shooting the same bow as I was last year, and yet I saw such a huge difference in the arrows between the new arrows and my old arrows. Where
Yeah,
my old arrows were still like I was still straight up like left to right. I was pretty close to being on, like not that I was exactly left to right the same, but I was off left to right one way or the other. But where those other new ones I bought were considerably, like I said, way to the left,
yeah,
which I thought was way interesting because I feel like I was coming up and setting in the same points of contact and shooting, but it was still flying to the left. But it'll be ready, and you know and then moving on to the hunt part of it, it's we talked a little bit about it, like hunting the deer. That's going to be a little different or a little interesting. Trying to, like we said, paying attention. I think I'm going to pay. Well, I think I want to pay attention to the air, to the wind a little bit better this year. Use that to my advantage, and not let it just flow, not let it go where it's going, and then just me being like, well, I'm gonna let my scent get carried all in front of me. Then why am I not seeing anything?
right.
And I'm hoping this year that I can see something and then be able to stock up to it, or be able to work my way into it instead of you know I guess either like instead of just going for a walk and I go, look, there's something in front of me. Hopefully I can spot it and then work towards it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that though, so the plan is that we're gonna meet up for Joe's hunt in August 15th or on August 15th, and but part of it though, I mean, we're kind of adding a whole nother element to it. We're gonna try to film as much as we can of it, and so I mean, not only the challenge of making sure you're shooting your bow right, but uh, trying to get good footage, trying not to be a nuisance to the hunt as far as getting footage, and making content for the Struggling Hunters channel. we kind of got a lot of challenges ahead of us, and so it'll be really interesting. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We'll have a good time doing it, but I think it'll be a learning experience all the way around between filming, between um, trying to get to where the deer are, and
Right.
I mean, pretty much everything we have going. It's gonna
And like
be
my plan too, that's the other thing is I did look up I can hunt a spike elk on in that unit that I'll be hunting deer. So hopefully my scouting pays off and the deer that I have been watching. So I know I talked about I want to be able to spot a deer and sneak up to it, but I'm hoping that I can put myself in a position to be where the deer are going to be, and I won't have to really like try to sneak into them. They'll be eating to me, and hopefully, like hopefully, I don't want to say it now, but opening morning will be done.
yeah,
I just jinxed myself, I'm sure,
yeah.
because it never works that way. But I will then get the deer, then hopefully they'll spend the next couple of days hunting elk.
Yeah, well, that would be that'd be a good goal. I mean, I hope that it actually works that good, but like you said, probably just jinxed ourselves, and we probably won't see a deer for until the last minute of the last second of the last day that I'm actually able to be there. So, which we're trying to do for me, a 3-day hunt. I think Joe might stay a little longer, but gonna try to
Yeah.
stay with Joe for 3 days and hunt with him. Uh, get some get some footage and try to make some content and hopefully get something. But yeah, I have 3 days that I can be over there hunting with them, and then yeah, I mean, like Joe said, the goal is hopefully we get some opening morning or at least the first day, and then we can spend the rest of the time just trying to hunt some elk. But we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
And it always seems like you always make up that game plan, like, oh, it's gonna be this is how it's gonna be, and then come the day of the hunt or day of whatever, it never quite works that way.
I know we always. It seems like you always play it in your mind like it's going to be easier than what it really. I think
Right.
that's what leads to the like after a few days of kind of striking out or whatever, it starts leading to all the doubt and everything because you put so much confidence in. I know for me anyway, put a lot of confidence in myself, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting me something this year for sure. And then like a couple of days of not seeing nothing, I'm like kicking rocks and cussing and.
Well, no, that's like so. Like my hunt, uh, I'm sure everyone I'm sure can relate. Every deer hunter, or you don't necessarily have to be a deer hunter, just or an elk hunter, or just life in general. But like whatever you're trying to work towards, there always seems to be something that pops up that keeps you almost negative in a way. Like there's you get like you said, you get built so much, and then you build yourself up so much, and then you're expecting things to happen because you're so excited and you got that confidence in yourself, and nothing goes the way you plan. So then you start getting uh, irritated and frustrated and mad, and you just want to go kick a sand pile.
Yeah, yeah, for
But
sure.
like, but my deer I got 2 years ago, hunting here, I got to deal with a bunch of other hunters. Um, I had one deer shot at kind of in my back pocket. If I would have been looking, I was in the area first, and I just didn't look where these guys did, and they were able to take a shot. I don't think they didn't get the deer. I know they didn't get the deer. I don't know if they hit it, but I watched them try to track it, and they went over the one hill away from me, and then they came back onto my side, and that I watched them the whole time. I never saw the deer come back my way, so I don't know why they're coming the way they're coming. But anyways, my deer, like I said, I took time off of work, thought I was hiking, hunting hard, not seeing a thing. I was getting frustrated. I was like, why do I always hunt this area with so many people? It's
Yeah.
just so hard to hunt. And then I found a little spot, and I ended up, getting my little 3 point. But it was I was quite frustrated.
Yeah. Um, something that's kind of amazing about that though is you said that one area, there's a lot of hunters. You see a lot of hunters walking around. It amazes me that there's still mule deer that pop up, right? I mean, but between a bunch of hunters, there's still deer that pop up between you guys,
Right.
kind of giving everybody the opportunity. But you would think with that much pressure and that many people out there, they'd skedaddle, but for whatever reason they still pop up every once in a while.
Yeah, they do. And like there's still, decent bucks that get pulled out of up there too. They they learn. I think that they've learned to hold up and not run. And the other thing they have going for them too is the scrub oak is so tall that like they can just sit in the scrub oak all day and never be seen. And some of it's pretty steep going in and out of it, so it's not like people are gonna. It's so two things is it's so steep that no one wants to hike it, but then you throw the scrub oak on top of it, and man, trying to hike through scrub oak is not the funnest. Like uh, I've gotten myself into situations where it's like easy going downhill, but man, trying to come back up out of it, it's just takes all your mental effort goes into doing that, and you get pissed,
Yeah,
frustrated,
yeah, you can't.
get it by that.
Oh, I hear you. I've been there a couple times.
And so I think that that's kind of the two things that I think it has going for it is that you got the scrub oak and the hills, and then they've learned to just stay put, like where people won't be. So
So we're where we're planning on going. um do you think those deer are bedding down close by?
I'm not 100% sure because I would not close. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they are close. I think they're going back up in the hills to bed.
Okay.
I think they're coming down at night, and then they move their way back up in the hills to bed up. Because when I was watching them, that's about like 9 o'clock. They were starting to make their way back up into the hills, back up into the sagebrush, rocky, kind of rocky cliffs areas. Um,
So with that said, I've been kind of thinking about that. I got flies in the shop again. But anyway, I've been kind of thinking about that with I'm almost kind of betting that that's probably when we'll get our best opportunity is in the afternoon. I mean,
I'm hope I'm
might be an
hoping that
overstatement, but
I'm hoping that I can figure out where they're going to be in the morning and get set up right there in the morning and get it. But we might be coming in the afternoon above them and trying to be quiet and and finding them in their beds, which it goes both ways. Like I kind of hope that happens that way, but I don't really want it to
yeah.
because I'm lazy.
Well, I don't think you're lazy, man. I've walked in the woods with you when you've had to pack me out almost a couple times. You're not
Yeah,
lazy.
we get back to the road, and you're gonna make me hike back to the truck to get the truck to come back and pick you up.
Well, it only makes sense. It's your truck. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think what it really comes down to though is just that we both just are wanting some success
Yeah.
and kind of want to, you know, I mean, I think like we've been kind of on that dry spell long enough where for both of us, it's like, it's not about, so people that are successful quite often, like a lot of the time they get an opportunity the first day or two, and sometimes they don't take it because they're like, well, what else is out here, you know?
Yeah.
But for us, it's been long enough where I feel like it's kind of the opposite, where we're like, we're taking the first opportunity because we can't chance not taking our first opportunity.
Right.
So
So while you were talking, I had something pop up, an idea, or not an idea, but just kind of a. All right, I'll just put it out there instead of trying to come up with some intelligent way of trying to describe what my thought was. So, how many plans do you think you need to make a hunt successful? Like, so like we talked about, like you asked about what time about the oh man, COVID. Um, the deer going up to bed. So I guess with that being,
you got me.
took it a second.
Well, internet's a little slow tonight.
But so let's say, so we'll take my plan right now for hunting the deer, or hoping that I know where they're going to be in the morning.
Yeah.
And get myself set up. I get us set up in a position to take one in the morning. And so if that doesn't happen, you go to plan B. Do you like, okay, now we know where they're going to go. We're going to do a loop and make our way back into that area. And so I guess, I guess what I'm getting at is always having a plan may keep you from being discouraged. You're not, so my mind kind of went, well, if I have a plan A and I'm set up for that, and this is all banked off the fact that I know what the deer are going to do, right? Like I know, and granted, they can do what they're going to do and change the plan. So it kind of gives yourself a little bit of confidence in that, having a couple of different plans where you go, well, the deer aren't where I thought they would be, or they're not playing they're not going the direction I was hoping they would. You don't feel like you have to make something happen in that plan A. Does that make sense? You kind of go, plan A is this, but if they don't, without a plan B, I feel like you're going to go, well, they have to do this, or I have to get out there and try to make something happen. I have to make an opportunity.
Yeah, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. I mean, you just kind of instead of getting discouraged and kicking rocks, you move on to the next plan and
right.
keep pushing forward to keep your mind from getting negative on you.
Right, and trying to push something to happen that, so let's say if they're not working exactly how plan A is, you can do, you go within plan A, I'm sure there's, a couple different things you can do. You can say, okay, is there any obstacles out there? What's the wind doing? How can I, is there a way I can make this situation work? Or do I have to try hard to make it work? And then you go, well, I know plan B, they should start doing this and they're going to be up in here. So I'm going to just I'm not going to push them. I'm not going to try to, upset them. I'm just going to let them do their natural little thing and then continue on and then just catch them over here.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, you're not trying to you're not getting frustrated and then getting mad at yourself for not allowing, or not really feeling like you missed an opportunity. Like you still got opportunities in front of you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the way you got to look at it. I mean, I know in past, I think with what you're explaining is I do it every year. As a matter of fact, I mean, I don't come up with other plans. Well, I try to come up with other plans, but it does set in my mind like, oh man, plan A didn't work. Like, I suck. And so, but I think like, yeah, if you do like, I think you're onto something. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is I think you're onto something. Like, think plan A doesn't work, just move on to plan B and not necessarily scratch plan A, but like just put it behind you for now and just
Right.
move on to plan B and go from there. So I mean, I think yeah, I think you're onto something. Just try to keep in positive spirits and 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 focus on what you're trying to accomplish out there and not get so discouraged where you're not even thinking straight. Because
Right.
I feel like that's happened to me before, or it does probably more often than not, where plan A doesn't work, maybe even plan B doesn't work quite the way I want it, and they're not doing what I think they should.
Right.
That's the funny thing about wild game is you have these plans in your head, you think that they're going to do what you want them to do, and they don't. They have their own agenda. They don't care anything about what your plan was.
Right.
your plan your plan don't mean anything to them. So, but I mean, yeah, I see what you're trying to say there. I think it's a good thought process.
Yeah,
And
because I mean, I feel like at times, like when I'm out in the woods, like I get discouraged because nothing's happened, and then I'll either throw my plan out or you try to like push a situation, and then you blow the whole situation. Like you blow, you might have a plan B, but you're so focused on getting plan A to work that you're going to blow plan B, and now your hunt's blown for the rest of the day or the rest of the week because you blew everything out of the area.
yeah, I think we kind of touched in on that last week too about kind of just moving on. Like if something happens or something doesn't happen, I rather um then you just move on to the next thing, the next plan, and try to keep in positive spirits about the whole thing. And I mean, I think that's all you can do. I don't know.
Right. Right. And so, you know, and that, so I guess that's on all my prep, as I'm trying to prepare myself for the upcoming deer hunt and whatnot. It's like, well, you try to plan situations. What am I gonna do? Um, I'm trying to get other areas in my back pocket. If this area totally doesn't work, and then and try not to stay linked to one particular area if it's not producing, and then trying to find other water holes, other places where water is going to be good vegetation, good feeding areas.
Yeah.
And but it's one of those humbling experiences too, because you're always like, oh, I'm the big bad hunter. But then you get talking about it and it's like, well, my success rate isn't all that great, and I really don't know. I feel like like deer are going to make you feel like a fool every time, if I was more, not every time, but, or elk even, like
Oh
don't
yeah.
really know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah. No, we're doing. I mean, it's easy to talk and convince yourself that you got a solid plan, but that's what they, like I said earlier, man. They don't care what your plan is. They're gonna do what they want to do.
And
So
that's one of the things though, like, I know it seems like with this struggling hunters is, I think I said it before, but just getting on here and trying and having someone else to talk to about it, like kind of dedicating that time um, to discuss you've learned, what I've learned, and have a sounding board to bounce stuff off of, just to do that in kind of a non-judgment zone, like it's not like either of us really know that. Well, we know some, but not a lot. We're still learning, but we're still, you still
Yeah.
got stuff to add.
Yeah. We're the Planet Fitness of hunting podcast. No judgment zone.
Right. But hopefully we're better.
Yeah. Well, so that's something I can't remember if I brought it up before or not, but I've been kind of running with that thought, like when you start getting successful, you kind of have a confidence about you to where you know what to do. But then like whenever that's not working anymore, like, you know, for me, it's been a while for me since I've killed anything, and it's been a few years for you. That confidence starts to go away a little bit, where you kind of question everything that you do. And I think right now that's kind of where we're at is and we're trying new things too, because I mean you've been doing bow for a few years, but you haven't been successful yet.
Right.
And 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 then, I've been concentrating on elk over in Colorado for I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and just concentrating on that, trying to understand what they do. And so, like, I'm trying everything. I'm trying everything that I've heard, everything that, trying to make up stuff along the way if I think I need to. And but I think once you're successful, then the confidence kind of sets in to where you're like, okay, now I know what to do. Now, but
Yeah.
you kind of lose your confidence too. And I mean, I guess that's what I'm admitting to, is I've kind of lost my confidence a little bit, and I feel like the pressure's on. I'm not gonna kid. Like, I feel like the pressure's on. I mean, we got this podcast and we love talking about hunting, and that's great to love to talk about hunting. But at some point, we gotta start getting us some animals. So with that said, I mean, it's kind of pressure's on a little bit, and hopefully we can both be successful this year and kind of get our confidence back and be like, okay, now we know what to do, or at least we know where to start for the following years and what to try, right? Like, I think that's the biggest thing, is once you find a couple things that work for you, then you kind of rinse and repeat. But then as time goes on, maybe that doesn't quite work for you, but it's always a good start. It's a good
Right.
place to start, is what has worked for you in the past. And for us, I mean, we're kind of trying so many new things at the same time. Even though I'm still hunting rifle, I haven't hunted elk very much in my life, except, I mean, I would off and on in Idaho. I'd
Well,
hunt for them, but I was mostly hunting for deer. And then I always tell myself, like, oh, if I come across an elk, I'll shoot it. But like,
right. Well, like that's kind of like me. Like, both of us have the. I think we can both share that same story. As growing up, I've actually, I have had tried to go out a couple of times growing up for elk specifically. Um, but like I've never tried to. Well, I shouldn't say never tried out. It's never retained, or like trying to understand where the elk might be. As I was always of the, well, if I'm out in the woods and I'm busting the brush to my, like if I'm out, I'm going to increase my odds anyways, because they're not going to be down in the city.
right.
But up until more or less recently, like I've never really tried to understand more about what's going on in the elk world or the
Yeah.
deer world.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the strength of this podcast is I mean, the extra studying that we've done. I feel like we're kind of more so this year than any other time in my life, even though I love hunting and stuff, like, because of this podcast, I'm definitely sticking with thinking of hunting a lot. I mean, I've thought about hunting a lot more than I ever have in the past. Cause I've been that guy in the past that, hunt season comes around and that's all I can think about is hunting. But then hunt season's over and then I'm off to other things. And now we have a podcast around hunting. So I'm always thinking about hunting again. So, but I think it's kind of an advantage because we're always, like you said earlier, is bouncing ideas off of each other and talking about, their habitat and their, what they like and don't like. And you're just kind of familiarizing yourself with that stuff. Constantly talking about that stuff kind of familiarizes yourself. So whenever you get out in the woods, you kind of remember most of this stuff, or at least that's the goal.
Right. 100%. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I feel more confident this year because I feel like we're gonna kind of know like when to give something up or when to pursue forward a little bit better this coming year. Or I hope.
Right.
So
No, I think so. Like, we're definitely going to be able to hit it harder, or not, shouldn't say hit it harder, but hit it smarter, a little more, again, it's easy to talk the talk. I've been doing that for years.
yeah, well, I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, I love talking hunting.
Right.
I could do it all the time. Well, we do it all the time now, but I used to do it all the time and not record it or anything, but I definitely talk the talk whenever I wanted to. And now I am, but like you said, like now it's kind of got to do the rest of it and start getting more successful. But I mean, the odds are kind of always against us. I mean, for the public land hunting that we're doing, they say out of 10%, I think it's 10% of people are successful. So you got to think like if there's 100 hunters out there in your area at one time, only 10 of them get an elk.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm sure that varies year to year a little bit, but I'm sure the average is about 10%. And so,
Yeah. And that's what I'm hoping with like what we're doing by doing this is that we're putting the odds a little bit more in our favor. Just like you said, talking about it and being able to retain and get out in the woods and be like, well, I remember I was supposed to change something, but I don't remember what it was. I did something last year and it wasn't all that great. And
well, we'll go back and be like, hey, remember episode 10? Let's do that.
right.
I honestly can't remember what we talked about in episode 10, but
what did we talk about? We talked about hunt dates, the start of Boone and Crockett.
Oh, there you go. So I don't know how much that'll help us in the middle of our hunt, but
we'll definitely refer to it.
yeah, we'll definitely look back on it. No, I do, man. Like I feel a different kind of confidence. I'm kind of being what's the word I'm looking for? A little wishy-washy, if you will, but I feel a little, because I just said how we didn't have confidence, or I didn't have confidence, but at the same time, I do have more confidence coming into this next hunt season because I feel like I'm gaining the knowledge to kind of get the beat on these elk to. And I don't know. I feel like my plan is pretty foolproof. I mean, I just have my biggest plan is just I'm gonna try to spend a lot of hours out there, and I'm at least for like a few days. I mean, I'm sure there'll be one day where I might be like, I'm just going back to base camp, kind of refresh a little bit. But I know my biggest plan is, and I think maybe for your hunt coming up, we might do the same, but just staying out there until dark, and hopefully something comes, we come across something and get successful. But I know for me, like that's really that's my biggest plan for this year is just the hours that I'm going to put in. I'm going to put in more hours. And, I feel like for the last 5 years, I put in morning hunts and evening hunts. I mean, I got those dialed in pretty dang good, but I just haven't put in the hours and I can't get over that. Like, so last year there was one point where I think you were with me. Well, I know you were, and we were walking out. We were getting ready. Like it was the evening hunt and we were getting ready. And I think we heard like 2 shots and I'm like, man, maybe we weren't out early enough. We should have probably been out a little bit earlier and more set up. And we were kind of just barely getting out there. We still had a couple hours of light, but we were just kind of barely getting out there. And then we heard 2 shots and I was like, maybe we should have been out here a couple hours earlier even. So with that mindset, I'm thinking, hey, I'm just going to stay out there pretty much all day. I mean, that's the plan, is just stay out there all day and hopefully it'll work out,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think, it's just hunting smart, and I don't know, people are probably tired of us. It's not like we're reiterating ourselves, but it's just us trying to get something to stick in our hunting. What I was gonna, how like the brain has different names, like different parts of the brain has different. Yeah. I can't remember. None of them really come up to mind, but I feel like there needs to be one part of the brain that just, it's like the hunting side of it, and
call it the big game fever.
Yeah.
Cortex.
Yeah, or something like that. I feel like, I don't always retain it all, and I can't recall it every time I get out there what I want to do or should look for.
Well, I kind of picture in my head, like kind of on a comedic side of it is so I think you could drive yourself nuts on everything that you're supposed to do. Make sure the wind is in your favor. Make a little bit of noise. Don't make any noise. All the stuff that, I mean, if you like really went out there and just like tried everything that they say you're supposed to do, like you'd like literally like just spin in a circle and like drive yourself nuts. I mean, I'm kind of being a little funny, but I'm just kind of joking around, but it does feel that way sometimes. Cause it's like, well, shoot, man, I just want to hunt. Like, like
yeah,
overthinking everything is just, it can kind of screw you up, I think. So sometimes you just got to go out there and do your best and forget the rest. That's my motto. That's my motto on everything, man. Just do your best and forget the rest. Just like this podcast, we're just doing our best and forgetting the rest. So,
but we're going to remember to go hunting.
Yeah. I don't forget hunting season. I don't forget opening day.
Oh, well, I think it's about that time though that we kind of wrap everything up.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's been a fun podcast. Episode 14. I think that Joe and I both, we just kind of have a little bit of hunting fever coming up, and kind of getting prepping up for that, getting excited for Joe's hunt. Um, I'm excited for it selfishly for myself because I can kind of get my feet wet a little bit in the hunting aspect, and then kind of
Oh, true.
kind of mentally get myself prepared for my hunt,
Right.
and so kind of get that little extra hunting in, even though I'm not gonna just be filming or whatnot. I'll still be out there and kind of getting my, kind of getting everything, getting all the kinks worked out, I guess, in my own head. Like,
Right.
so selfishly, I'm pretty excited to go out, but then I'm also excited to be able to hunt with you this year. I'm excited to, I don't know. I mean, I'm being pretty optimistic, but I think we'll get something, and I'm excited for that. So I'm just, just it's gonna be a good time,
Yeah.
and so yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it'll be fun, and
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun, something to look forward to. We're definitely gonna, we'll have a story to tell by the end of it, and like you said, it'll get you pumped up, get you ready for your hunt, and kind of maybe tuck some little nuggets away to think about and to prepare yourself for when your hunt opens up.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, yeah, I think we'll. I don't know. I got high hopes. I feel like I'm just kind of repeating myself. I think it's just one of those late night podcasts. So guys, thanks for sticking with us this long. I know it was a little crazy. I've said it before, but just to reiterate, if you guys have listened to us this long, especially me and Joe, we kind of do this later in the evening. We got our full-time jobs and everything. So some nights we're just kind of not 100% there just because work has kicked our butt or whatever for the week. So um, with that said, though, thanks for listening to the Struggling Hunters, and we'll catch you again next time.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Enjoy it. Hopefully, you guys find some value in what we're saying, because we're definitely finding value in it. But have a good night, good day, and happy hunting.
See you
When
guys.